Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and hi if you're new here, I'm Jade, and today I thought we would do a little bit of a end of year book tag. I just love hearing about the sort of summaries of things people have read and things to do with reading, so I thought this would be fun. I haven't really seen many people posting them this year. I don't know if I've just missed them or whatever, but I remember watching a lot of these last year and really enjoying it. So I have just gone online, found a list, and we can go through the questions. Now, I had planned to give you the most authentic answers that you would get, where I would just read the question and then come up with something on the spot. However, I actually just filmed this whole entire video, went to play it back, and then realized that somehow the camera had got moved between me setting it up and me starting recording, and I wasn't even in the camera properly. So therefore, the questions are not new to me anymore because I did just answer them, but I am going to do them all again just for you. But anyway, without further ado, let's get on and let's do these questions. Are there any books you started this year that you still need to finish? No, because I never pause in the middle of a book. I don't tend to DNF, so I couldn't say, oh, I could go back to that one. And if I was to DNF, it would be because I'm definitely not actually going to finish it. I'm not going to go back to it, I don't think. It would mean I really, 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 really didn't like it. Why would I go back to it? But I guess you could say my current read, I definitely need to continue with and finish because obviously I don't want to let that not be finished. I'm currently reading on my Kindle Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. It's actually a pick for one of my book clubs. So therefore, really, I actually really need to finish it within the next few days. I have my first book club's meeting tonight, and the book club I'm reading that one for is in 2 days' time. So yes, I need to finish that one, I guess you could say. I'm also doing one of those book advent calendars, so obviously I want to stay committed and finish that this month too. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year, e.g. spooky, cozy, historical? I don't know if I was supposed to film this earlier because I've kind of moved past the autumnal books already at this point. Although officially winter doesn't start till December 21st. But I feel because it is December, I've moved into the Christmas books. I've kind of, felt the vibes already with snow and very wintry feeling books. So therefore not really autumnal transitional books. But I guess you could say reading all the sort of Christmas books. I am currently on my third one of the season already, and I'm filming this quite early December, so I guess you could say the Christmas books are my books that are transitioning me into winter. Is there a new release you're still waiting for before the year ends? I think everything I was mainly anticipating is already out. I think there was a few on the 2nd of December. I think Second Chance Cinema was the 2nd of December. I could be wrong on that. I know it was on my anticipated reads video earlier this year. I still don't have that, so I don't think I'm going to read it, before the end of the year. But it was definitely an anticipated read that came out this month. And I also think Dawn of the Firebird came out this month. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's also another one that I definitely want to get around to reading. But I do not need to buy any more books before the end of this year because my TBR is insanely big. And I'm sure I'm going to get a few books at Christmas as well. So there's just a lot. Question 4. What are 3 books you'd love to read before the year is over? So when I was filming this earlier, I wasn't really sure about this one. So I went round and looked at all my TBR to try and decide. And I came up with 3. So let me get them. So the first one I picked is Holly by Adeline Grace, mainly because it is a Christmas novella from the Belladonna series. So being a Christmas novella, I really, really, really want to read this before Christmas. And Wisteria was picked by my TBR jar for this month. So that is the 3rd book in the main trilogy. So I need to read that so that I can get onto Holly. And that's kind of the one I'm most convinced I will read. So yes, it's one I want to read by the end of the year, but it's the one I'm most convinced that I will definitely try and fit in and make time for. This series has honestly been one of my favorite things I've been reading this year, so I just need to read this year too. The next one I picked is The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. The only reason being is because it's the final one in the series, and then I can say I've completed a series before the end of the year. Honestly, I don't know how realistic that is because I have a couple of arcs I have committed to reading before the year is out. I've still got all the ones from my TBR jar to read that they were chosen. So I have quite an extensive list of books to get through anyway, especially, Christmassy ones and things as well. But if I have time, I would like to fit this in because it would be nice to just say, yes, I finished another series and can check it off my list. Also with the movie coming out, it just feels apt to finish the series first. I know the movie is of book one, so it's not going to spoil book three for me, but I don't know. It just would feel nice if I wrap that up first before seeing the movie. And then the third book I chose was Frederick Buckman's Beartown. I actually got this from the book outlet sale I did much, much earlier this year, but it just gives me those winter cozy vibes. I know it's meant to be like sad, I think, but I don't know, with the picture of like the wintry town on the front and everything, I've just been sort of saving it for the winter to read. So I definitely want to read this one. I'd love to get to it before the year's out. I don't know if I will, to be honest. I feel like out of all of them, this is probably the least likely, but it'll be very fitting, I think, still, January, February time. So it's one I definitely want to get to very soon, but I don't know if I'm going to have time actually before the year is out, even though I would love to. Is there a book that could still surprise you and become your favorite read of the year? Honestly, I doubt it, but you never know, right? Like, how can I judge a book that I haven't read yet? I mean, thinking of what is on my TBR, Wisteria, I have adored the Belladonna series this year, so Wisteria could become a favorite. I also have Wicked on my TBR. I don't see that one becoming a favorite because I didn't like Elfie, and it was picked for being the lowest rated on Goodreads on my TBR. I still never know. So I suggest coming back, watching my December wrap up, and then you will see if I found a new favorite or not. But honestly, I found so many good books this year already. I'm not sure that any of them are going to top my favorite few of this year, but I could still find some very good ones before the end of the year, I would say. Question 6. Have you already started making reading plans for the next year? There are some books that are coming out that I'm super excited for, and I know I will be slotting in and reading as soon as they come out. So I guess that's a little bit of forward planning on my reading. But I don't like to plan too much. I don't like to put too much pressure into what I'm reading and doing, because at the end of the day, I just love reading. And sorry if you've had this before in one of my other videos, but I know a lot of people are new to the channel recently, so I'm just going to repeat it quickly. But I did a degree in drama and literature. I had to read 4 books a week as a requirement. A lot of them aren't ones that I would obviously normally pick, and it really drained me and it put me in a huge, huge reading slump. After finishing university, my love for reading just kind of almost went, and I spent many years kind of like fighting with that. And occasionally I'd pick up a book and love it, but I just wasn't really into reading anymore. And it's only the last few years I've really, really started to like adore reading again. And I just don't want to lose that. So I don't like to put all this pressure on myself by like planning everything out and then feeling like I'm letting myself down if I don't get there. For me, my main plan with reading is just continue loving it. Question 7. What's a book that completely surprised you with how much you loved it? So there was definitely a few that sprang to mind when I was reading this question the first time I recorded this video. And I went around and I found one that I think just stood out to me the most. So let me show you. And that is This Time It's Real by Anne Liang. So A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Liang was probably my favorite book last year. And then earlier this year, she released a YA romance novel called I'm Not Jessica Chen. I was so excited for that one that I pre-ordered it, dove straight into it, and honestly, I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. I didn't hate it by any means. It was like an easy read, but there was just nothing that gripping or special about it at all. And I think because I loved A Song to Drown Rivers so much, I had a really high expectation. Then I got gifted this off my wish list by someone, and I honestly wasn't that intrigued to read it, but it got picked by my TBR jar. And I think I was just kind of put off reading it because I was like, oh, I'm probably not really going to like it that much compared to A Song to Drown Rivers, because this is another YA romance. And I just kind of lost my expectations there and didn't think I would like this at all. I would put it up there with one of the best romance books I read this year. I rated it 5 stars because it was like a couldn't put it down kind of book. And I just loved the story. So the story follows a girl called Eliza, and then she writes this sort of essay about a romance and relationship that goes viral. And then there is this guy, Kaz Song, who is an actor, and they both start fake dating to sort of help each other out. And then obviously, naturally, they start falling for each other. There's a lot more to the story, a lot more complexity than that. But then also, I think the reason I resonated with it so much is Eliza has just moved there. She's a bit of an outsider. She doesn't really have many friends. And, me having just moved from the UK to the US, I could relate to a lot of that, even though they're teenagers in this book. And I'm obviously significantly older, but I still kind of felt her isolation and could really resonate with that. So I think that's one of the reasons I loved it so much. Question 8. What kind of book are you in the mood for as the year closes out? Obviously, my answer should be Christmas books, but now that I'm already on my third, I think I'm just getting a little bit tired of them. I'm not going to lie. I'm sure as I get closer to Christmas, I'll have the desire to pick up another one or two, but honestly, right now I kind of just want anything that isn't a Christmas romance. I think something with wintry vibes or like a thriller, like a sort of dark book is definitely a good mood for right now. It's just like the cheesy Hallmark romances that I'm tired of. Question 9. What's the most beautiful book you've bought or received this year? I have had quite a few nice sprayed edge books this year, and just some with really nice cover designs. Like, I think a few honorable mentions are like Shield of Sparrows. I thought that was a really beautiful book. Same with the Onyx Storm with the sprayed edges that came out. I thought that was a really nice cover. But ultimately, I picked this one, Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. I actually picked this to read this year from my TBR jar on the beautiful cover prompt, and I just think it's stunning. I don't think it ever shows up properly in camera, but it really glistens, like all these sort of gold lines that go through the cover just really glisten. I kind of like that it's like a more of a pattern than a like cheesy picture or something. And then it has gold sprayed edges. So it is just gold. Like, they're not like it's a nice pattern on the sprayed edge. It's not as intricate as some books, but there's just something about it that makes it look sort of chic and classy at the same time as being really beautiful. So that's why I'm going to go with this one. And as I chose it for my TBR prompt of beautiful cover, I don't feel like I should like take that title away from this book. And question 10. How has your reading habits changed this year? Well, first off, I've read a lot more this year. I smashed my reading goal. I set it as 40 at the beginning of the year. I kind of knew I would probably break 40. As I said, I don't like to put pressure on myself when I'm reading, so I set it a little bit low, but I probably set it a bit too low. I smashed through that pretty quick and then changed it to 60, where I did just leave it at 60, but I think I'm currently on 109, I think. And I know for some that isn't actually that many. And then for others, that seems like a lot. But honestly, whatever your goals of reading, as long as you enjoy what you're reading, who cares how much you have read? But it does reflect that my habits have changed because I have read significantly more. I think the main reason behind that is I'm more settled this year. You know, last year I was moving to a new country. I had a lot going on and it was just all about settling in and everything. Whereas I'm in more of a routine now. I have my business that I've set up this year, and I think, yeah, I'm just in a more of a routine. So then I sort of have my routine of when I read, therefore I get through books quicker. Plus, I started going to a second book club in person this year. So that sort of encourages me to read more as well. So I think that's the main thing that's sort of changed with my habit, is just reading a lot more. I would also say I have got more sort of routine about my reading. So, like I said, I have more of a routine in general, but also since trying the Pomodoro method a couple of months ago, I do sometimes find myself implementing that, or like variations of that kind of style where I'm like, right, I'm going to read for 15 minutes and then I'm going to do XYZ that I need to get done. Then I will read for 15 minutes and I'll like break up tasks I need to do with reading. So, yeah, I think I've just become more organized in my reading, I guess. But anyway, everyone, that is all the questions. If there's anything else you've wondered about books I've read this year or anything to do with reading habits, whatever, please comment below your question and I will happily answer you. But other than that, I think I'll love and leave you here because otherwise I'll be rambling all day and there's lots to get done this time of year. So yeah, I need to get ready and go to my book club. So I will see you again real soon. Bye.